Telltale suck. I mean, they go under for a reason, right? From financial struggling and poor sales and focusing on quantity over quality. But is that even true? I mean, I like Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us. It's a great game. There's no other way the quality is going down that much, right? Well, let's just say I've played some interesting game, to say the least. But first, let's talk about what type of games Telltale make. Telltale makes a narrative heavy and interactive storytelling with a choice driven episodic series that may be important or maybe not, with a lot of game release that did not sell well. So I'm going to play the game around their downfall to prove does Telltale deserve their demise. So before we talk about this game, I'm going to focus on a couple of criteria for the games that we're going to talk about. Firstly, the narrative. Of course, this is the main selling point of the Telltale game. If you have a boring and a bad story, you're a bad Telltale games. Second is the character. It has to be at least likable. And the last one is the gameplay. This one matter the least, but there are some that has a pretty good gameplay, but there are some that are dragging it down by a lot. And the last one is, does the illusion of choice actually hurt the game? Yes, I'm already accept the illusion of choice of Telltale games exists. So if it's dragging the game way too much, I'm going to talk about it. So let's start with it's kind of wild that I never actually heard people talk about this game. Like, I'm not exactly a fan of Borderlands, but honestly, this game is pretty solid. This game starring two playable characters, Fiona and Riz. Fiona is a con artist, while Riz is a manager of your typical local space weapon maker corporate Hyperion. You will think, huh, two main character? That's not going to work. Well, it works somehow. They barely talk to each other, unlike other game. So most of the time they just split out and grow other main character and themselves. By having two different character is going to be great for other character that related to Riz and Fiona to be explored without over explaining.
Do you even know what Hyperion means to us on Pandora? It doesn't matter what you do up there. You contributed.
Look, when I was 10 years old, I started a club with my friends just so I had an excuse to print business cards. All I've ever wanted to do was run a company, and Hyperion's the biggest company there is, so yeah.
Well, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
This scene doesn't work when Vaughn talked to Riz or Sasha talked to Fiona because they probably already knew. Kinda like, oh yes, Sasha, my beloved sister. Remember when we do this specific stuff that make us close? Or Vaughn, my best buddies that work for me in Hyperion. We're such a good friend. Plus, we also learn about ourselves through the lens of their close one.
Oh, too bad Sasha wasn't here. She would have loved watching me shoot a thing in the face.
My sister felt much the same way about my exploits, until I was duped into murdering her.
The story is quite simple. From the start, we have these criminals that are forced to work with each other to grab some treasure. Then some silly stuff happen.
We tried to throw him out.
Stop it with the embellishments. What really happened?
No, actually, that's exactly how it went down.
Slowly begin to care about each other because they kinda hate each other from the very start. But they kinda like, oh yeah, we have to team up so that we can actually get this treasure, or else we're going to. And honestly, this game is actually kinda funny.
Oh, Eric? Oh, is that you? Wait, what is this? Is this real or is this a joke? A little help? No, don't help him. Come on, let him do it himself, if he can.
And even the main character is like, Riz is your awkward yet prideful guy, but also feels like he can do more good rather than being a manager on a toxic weapon making company. While Fiona is just a badass girl, but also a very sentimental girl, especially to her possession and her loved one that get constantly used by the antagonist. If I would nitpick, There are some NPC that can get more screen time but doesn't. They are really interesting but they didn't get explored. Also, I dislike the giant fight at the end, but that's pretty much it. And honestly, if you like Borderlands, just play this game. Thumbs up to this game, honestly. Let's see here. For our next game, we have the sequel. Let me play it for a bit. No, you're not getting a good intro. No, fuck you. Fuck this game. Fuck this shit. Okay, I'll be honest. I played this game before Tales from Borderlands. I mean, look at the similar title. And I'm so confused because the Steam show it's such a positive review and then this one are so bad. And I dread this game. Maybe I praise Tales from the Borderlands so much because I played this dog shit of a game before that. Shit looks better than anything at this point. If you want an example of how not to make a Telltale Games, this is it. The characters are so boring.
Standardization of the scientific process, but we're learning, right? Don't be such a stick in the mud, Anu.
Yes, this happen all the time. The story are so inconsistent. Each and every episode, they do some random shit that doesn't even matter. What is the purpose of this game? It's not treasure hunting, it's not detective, it's not apocalypse, then what is it? And to top it all off, they butcher my boy. My boy Reese get fucking butchered in this game. Reese at the end of Tales from Borderlands doesn't want to build an empire and cutthroat method of success. He's actively rejected it.
We'll find a different way to do things.
But here, nope, he become his old fucking self. Probably even fucking worse.
Maybe more like bad judgment? You've had a string of failed prototypes. I have a whole folder documenting your corporate violations. Yeah.
Why is he such a dick? This is not my Reese. This is probably the worst game that I ever played in my entire goddamn life. Every episode, they have a different objective. Got me thinking, what's even the point? Take episode 1 for example. We got Anu, Octavio, and Fran. 3 of the shittiest name ever, by the way. Then we had this introduction to like a lot of the side character, but we never see them again. I thought the game mostly going to be them going their own adventure, but no. All of the fucking game is going to be these 3 idiots interacting with each other. Remember when I said that, oh yeah, Tales from Borderlands work because their purpose is to expand the relationship of other characters. But here, they're always together, making unfunny jokes, awkward conversation, making me doesn't even care about the dialogue option because I'm talking to me anyway.
They say, reduce, reuse, reimagine how to recreate your invention using found materials from a bombed-out Frogat shop.
There are interesting elements like this subplot between Anu and her coworker.
What good is saving the world if you stopped caring about the people in it?
Anu is a workaholic and doesn't care about her coworker, but it doesn't go anywhere. We have this conflict between Anu and Octavio having a bad term for a while, but the game never addressed it until the last episode. And Fran just had anger issue. That's it. She's that uninteresting. You can have a great story if you're consistent, but this game just doesn't know what they want. Make Octavio and Anu meet at the end so they can resolve their sibling conflict while they improve for a couple episodes. But no, they're wasting your time with useless goddamn scene. Take this scene.
And
I said go.
Right. We'll see you on the other side.
You have this gap, this small gap. Fran cannot come in. You thought like, oh my god, they're going to separate. Fran is maybe going to have her own adventure. Nope. The next scene, she just walked right in.
Fran!
How?
What's the point of that fucking scene? Take this plot. They kind of like want to sell their stuff. Doesn't fucking matter, okay? And Octavio suggests they promote their product to this universe Shark Tank, this famous TV show in this universe.
Yeah, we could go on sink or swim.
Oh, it's this new Promethean EchoCast where you pitch an invention to an investor. If he likes it, he basically throws endless money at you.
5 minutes later.
Oh. What? Oh no! Oh no! What?
Whoa.
So why does he surprise when the contestant actually die, when their inventions suck? Like, Octavia doesn't know anything about this show, then why does he suggest it? Why he doesn't know anything about the show? Like, why? Don't get me started with shitty ending, shitty fight, shitty gameplay, and shitty choice. And I'm not going to blame Telltale for this. Blame 2K and Gearbox for this. Don't buy it, let's play Game of Thrones. Yep, you hear me right. There are a Game of Thrones Telltale, and it's not available on Steam. Free download. Anyway, before we get into Game of Thrones, I want to tell you about my personal opinion on Game of Thrones, okay? It sucked. And my expectation is extremely low. And it was I don't think it was amazing. I don't think it was good, but I don't think it really sucked as I thought it would. There are some good moments, but that's it. The game are a bit too long though. 12 hours are just too much for Telltale Games. It overstayed its welcome just a tiny bit. The story focused on the Forrester family. There are Garrett, the squire of the Forrester family, Mira, the eldest daughter that became a handmaiden of Marjorie, and Ethan, the young lord. I mean Roderick, the new lord, okay, and Asher, the banished Forrester. There's a lot of protagonists here, but they are on the different side of the Westeros or even outside of Westeros. Mira is the handmaiden in King's Landing, Garrett goes to the Black Castle, Ethan and Roderick become young lords after their father died, and Asher was banished because he fell for Gwyn Whitehills. I mean, you can't blame him. From this short explanation, you can tell, right? Sansa is Mira, Garrett is Jon Snow, Ethan and Roderick is Robb Stark, and Asher is much more of a Arya Stark. Which is fine, but it is kinda, you know. I think the problem with Telltale becoming a Game of Thrones game is the appeal of Game of Thrones is the characters are smart and little decision does matter, unlike in Telltale. Yes, when Mira doesn't hide the weapon, they should find it and should hang Mira. Hey! But here, whatever you choose, the outcome is the same and it does make it less interesting, especially if the plot revolves around politics. Alright, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. Killing off Ethan not only wastes our time but also just there for the shock value. It doesn't make sense when he wanted Ironwood for centuries but also piss off the producer that can produce Ironwood better.
The White Hills had Ironwood, once, but now those hills are bare. Do you want Ironwood for the next 5 years, or the next 50 generations?
It is a solid argument, and the smart thing to do is just not mess with the Forrester. Ramsay is a smart guy, so why does he decide to kill Ethan? He bent the knee like you wanted. Oh yeah, sure, to see the cruelty in Ramsay Snow like the other show. And Ethan from the very start is very competent and genuinely interesting to be a young lord. Why would you give the wood to the incompetent like the White Hills? They live in the mountain, you dumbass. Also, there is some inconsistency when the characters know something that they shouldn't.
To bring us back to Ironrath. To crush our enemies south of the wall.
I mean, how do you know that? Like, you're in the far north. Your work and a psych. Also, Garrett and Mira are supposed to help the Forrester family, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Their contributions are just a runtime here. Their conflict ends without even affecting the family because they lost anyway. Feels like they just want to connect the story but doesn't know how. So their story just ends. Garrett has an interesting premise but slowly go downhill. And Mira's story is just completely pointless. It's just politics for politics reason. It's just a waste of time. At least Rasha and Roderick's story is connected at the end. Roderick is easily the best part of the game because this is the point of the game, not the Night Grove, not the politics. It's just the Forrester defending against the White Hills. It easily can be 8 or 6 hour game. It probably would be better for the pacing. That's pretty much it. It's just mid. It's also so funny hearing Daenerys saying this after seeing the end.
What I found were the cries of children and people suffering in chains while their masters profited from their misery.
Girl, you are so fucking funny. Overall, the game is just okay. Nothing special. It's also not canon, if I had to guess. Mid, to be honest. Now let's play some blocks. I have a bad feeling about this. I mean, with this amount of creativity in this sandbox game, I'm sure they can make a really creative and good story, right? Yeah, this game is not good. This feels like it was written for children and not in a good way. And yeah, Minecraft is for children. I get that, but good children media can be enjoyed by adults. Before I went into the bad part, let me give him a little bit of credit. There are a really good gameplay here. I think this is the most interesting gameplay, even though it's so fucking simple. And I think people will like it more if the game just leaned to the gameplay rather than just the shitty story, to be honest. TLDR, just play Minecraft. But at the same time, this is Telltale, and the narrative's supposed to be the selling point of this game. And yeah, this game has a terrible story and writing. There's the F-bomb.
The formidabomb.
Yeah. I've heard all about the F-bomb before.
F-bomb? Are you fucking kidding me?
Soren claimed that dropping the F-bomb could destroy...
This game is for children. I honestly cannot finish this game. This is where I tap out. It's so uninteresting. It's a fantasy slop with some bland character than my chicken and rice. You can make such a creative world and story in Minecraft. I mean, look at those YouTubers who make stories in Minecraft. At least those are funny and interesting. Better than this one because it is much more creative, much more awkward, but it is creative. It's really good. Just watch those rather than playing this game. Honestly, just play Minecraft. Now, let's be vengeance. You probably already know about this game. It's probably the most recognizable Telltale game in this era, but seeing this kind of review is concerning. But it's not that bad. I mean, compared to the shit show we saw, this one is good. Bruh. I don't know. Maybe my bias toward Batman is showing. First of all, the detective aspect of Batman really fit into the Telltale style gameplay. It does make you smart by this Link gameplay. Even if it's really easy, it does make you pretty smart. One thing that I hate though, weirdly enough, is the combat. Every hit you need to hit a QTE. It makes the battle less fluid and awkward to stop every second. Just let the player do a combo or something. It's Batman, for fuck's sake. I hate QTE in Telltale, not only this, but almost every game. I'm chilling here, laying on my chair, and then suddenly there's QTE. I'm jumping to my keyboard and press the button. It's too much. Sometimes you just want to watch. But the story, honestly, are fine. There are aspects that I like more than I expected. Harvey and Bruce's relationship is really weird to me because it feels a bit forced, but at the same time, they kinda have Gotham's future in mind. I also love Two-Face that are not just a psychopath like in The Dark Knight, but is genuinely like a two guy on the same body. Harvey is a genuine good guy even after getting drugged. That's cool. Batman feels like a good detective here. I'm not really a comic reader, but they focus on the detective aspect more than him just being a brute vigilante, which I kind of like because I really like the Batman. But again, there are some moments that are making me kind of dislike this type of Batman. Bruce getting caught on the first day by Selena and he cannot resist the drug feels like a plot convenient, and I kinda hate that. I mean, Bruce should have a strong mental mind that cannot be drugged, or at least drugged this much for him to be beating Penguin to almost to death. I kinda hate it. But to be honest, I expect some messy story like Game of Thrones or even copying Nolan trilogy, but it's not. It's kind of refreshing. It's fine. maybe I'm going to play the sequel. Maybe. Who knows? I can tell they're really hoping for a hit, considering how well made this game is other than the other two. It's Batman for God's sake. But it's not going to save Telltale. And Telltale probably are just outdated. Maybe this type of game are so old school. And maybe these types of games are just not good anymore. Choice is supposed to matter, and this type of formula just doesn't cut it for people. Well, that was true until Dispatch came. Okay, fine. I maybe make this video because I want to talk about this patch, but I swear to God, this game is amazing. I think it's also helping that superhero are so booming right now. And it's not helping that I also love superhero, okay? Also, this patch has a lot of things that makes me love Telltale. In general, honestly, likable character, pretty solid storyline. The art and character design are so fucking beautiful. I'm never talk about this because all of the other Telltale games are just not really that beautiful as this is. They're also releasing comics for you to know the relationship between the characters. It's just a fucking chef kiss, man. What can I say? I even played 4 to 5 times just to know how small the changes are going to be. Yes, your choice actually matter here, and it transcends episodes. Well, kinda. It reported that the gameplay is also affected the ending, which is so different from all our past games that we talk about. Before continuing, I'm going to talk a little bit of spoiler, and I highly recommend you play it yourself first before this. Thank you. The story starts with Robert Robertson III, a superhero that is broken on the inside and the outside. The story starts when Robert Robertson messed up and break his Mac. The reason he became a superhero or even his dream job. Then Blonde Blazer came and offering him a job as a superhero dispatcher. It's really cool concept that we play as just a human being in a superhero world, but he also a superhero. This is not just an ordinary dispatcher. He has to dispatch a former supervillain group named Z-Team. It's a simple premise with a good idea of what's going to happen. A bunch of superhuman forces to be a group. Well, I think they inspired by X-Men. I don't know, just a thought. The story theme overall is redemption. Most people that we monitor are former villain, rather than Amanda Waller in DC that forces the villain to work for her. Robert's idea of dispatching is more of a rehabilitation for the Z-Team, but also, surprisingly, for Robert. See, while Robert is a superhero, the reality is more nuanced than that. He thinks being a superhero is his calling because his father is a superhero, so he's kind of like, oh yeah, I have to be like my father.
Talking about how she was born with powers that always meant she'd end up as a villain, like he was fated. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that must have been hard. Like if I didn't have you, you know, and my dad, where would I have ended up?
Being a mecha man is Robert's destiny, and when his mech dies, he also loses what it means to be alive or purpose of him living. In the end of the game, dispatching and rehabilitating a former supervillain is what makes him a hero, and also his empathetic feeling and understanding. So when people said he's not going to redeem some of these villains, especially in physical, they are kinda wrong. Speaking of Invisigal,
Fuck you!
She's one of the member of the Z-Team, also the main character in Dispatch. She's rude and doesn't have any boundaries of other people. The story clearly portrayed redemption in Invisigal. She and Robert feels like the two sides of the same coin if you think about it. And I think this is also the downside of the game. We barely do any character arc for anyone except for Invisigal. And I get that. there's just not enough time to do redemption for every single member of the Z team, but it will be cool seeing it more. Although I think their dynamic is really fun though. I actually love Invisible. I love everyone in this cast actually. I love the scene where she just saw she did good and get rewarded and she genuinely looks happy. And what I like about her redemption is her turning to good feels really hard. It doesn't feels like a straightforward answer. Most of the time she failed. It's easier for her to go back to her old ways and forget, but at the end she's not. She tried and she failed and she finally succeed. And I love that about her. And what I love is the parallel of Robert and Invisible. Robert for his whole life believed that he is not the hero, but Mega Man is. He clearly is wrong. He does have a good heart, unlike his dad, and I'll be honest, I think his dad is such a douche and such an asshole, unlike Robert. And how Robert treats Z-Team and believing in their redemption is what makes him a hero. While Invisible is the opposite. She always believed she deserved to be a villain. Her environment, power, and even probably her upbringing guide her to be a villain.
Some people are born to be heroes. I'm not one of them. I have fucking villain powers. I can turn invisible and skulk in the shadows. Being a villain is my fate.
Talking about how she was born with powers that always meant she'd end up as a villain. Like he was fated. But I do remember thinking, oh, fuck. Yeah, that must have been hard.
To be a person that lived in a transactional relationship, but at the end, she used her power to save a person, and I think that's really great. It's a cool way to show that they're wrong and they're more than what they realize. I also love Blonde Blazer. Even though I love Invisible, I also appreciate what Blonde Blazer is to the story. Blonde Blazer serves as more corporate side of the superhero, looks badass and untouchable, but inside, Mandy is more messy than it looks. But the downside is they do not show her a lot. But from little what we see, it's also really cool for her in the end to give up her power despite her insecurities. That's really cool. She's a real superhero.
Now that's a fucking superhero.
I think she's cool. Yeah. If you want me to really criticize the game, the dispatching session is scripted. Yeah, I know. I played 4 times, I realized it. And it felt repetitive after 4 times. But I think it would make a cool minigame to do this for an unlimited amount of times. For another time I dislike this game is they kinda cowardly didn't kill off one character. I think that's a coward move, but whatever. Most of these are nitpicks and I really want to know what this company is going to offer next. And yeah, a pretty good game. It's crazy that in 2025 we got a really good Telltale Games in the form of Dispatch. And it's also funny, the best one and the worst one technically not from Telltale. Overall, I do think games that Telltale released around 2016, 2017 are mostly just forgettable games. And sometimes forgettable is worse than bad. But I do think this genre is not dead. Dispatch disproved that by a long shot. Dispatch is so big that I think people would give these genres a try. And hey, Wolf Among Us 2 is coming, so maybe I revisit the first one again? I don't know. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm mostly just goofing, and a sub will be appreciated. Thank you. Now get out of here.